Hello, this is Malorian, and this will now be a summary of Onslaught 2012, just my thoughts of the tournament and my own list, and basically just the whole game in general. And I guess first to talk about the tournament, it was a really well done tournament. His tournament package had a lot of big advancements from last year. In previous years, in order to get a massacre, you had to get 3 times the victory points. It really is exactly what it says in the book before it was FAQ'd. And so this year, where it was made a difference where you need to get an 800 point difference to get a massacre, it made a lot more sense. And also made it so that you couldn't just go kill one unit and all of a sudden it's a massacre because it's 100 points to 0. So that was really nice. Having the War Machine missions in there, that was interesting to see how it worked. I don't know how well the Zone one worked because first of all, it would have been nice to have either little pieces of paper or felt to really mark the zone. Doing it in dice, I mean, we can obviously do it, but it would have been a lot more clear cut if we had something physical to put down. And it just seemed a little bit awkward. I know it probably worked a lot better for 40k, but for the fantasy side with the big blocks where it's kind of hard to maneuver, it was a little bit more difficult. But then again, maybe that's not a bad thing. It's forcing you to take smaller units and to be more maneuverable. You just can't take big, huge units. So, it's just something that I noticed that maybe wasn't all that bad. We had tons of time, everything was well announced, no real problems there, tons of people there. I mean, this is a fairly popular tournament, so that's pretty much all I can say for that. Of course, I love the fact that they have these secondary objectives that you get to pick yourself. Unfortunately, one of them that did seem odd is that there was one that said that you had to capture all of the objectives, and the only objective game was the first one. So really, if you didn't take that for the first one, and that was a very hard one to actually accomplish, that means for the 4 games, you're picking out of 5. So it makes things pretty tough, especially when those 5, some of them are destroy 3 war machines, and you might not even see an army with war machines, and you had other ones like you have to completely wipe out the opponent. But either way, I mean, those are things there to get extra points, so it's just a neat little system. As far as my list, I liked how my list was made. If I had to go back and I was trying to make a tournament a tournament list that was going to do well, I think would have done it exactly the same. One of the big reasons why I took the Savage Orc War Boss is that I wanted to have some extra killing power. Plus, while he's doing that, if I ever was to go up against some vampire counts, then I wouldn't have to worry about ethereal. This guy would just destroy them. As it turned out, there was only one vampire count player that came out, and they only had one ethereal unit, so it wasn't the biggest deal out there. As it happened in the game, my war boss was a huge disappointment to me. There was the one time we killed the dwarf lord. That was nice. Of course, in the Mind Razor combat against the Dark Elves, it was nice to have those extra kills from him too, but overall, I don't know, I was fairly disappointed. My level 4 Great Shaman, I mean, he's there for the Foot of Gork and for the Shrunken Head, and both those things did great, so he's wonderful. Night Goblin BSB did his thing, well, except when he started failing animosity, so that was great. Night Goblin Bunker, I mean, they kept him safe. The dual trolls were really there just to kind of help me set up the matchups and all those things. And really, it was kind of interesting that didn't really come up because out of the 4 games, there was 2 of them where one side deployed first, and I got that both times. And so really, even with that, I didn't really get the matchups I wanted. Otherwise, I mean, the trolls, there are 35 points. If nothing else, there's that one mission they were perfect for where one didn't start and I just got extra points. Savage Orc Biggins always do great. Of course, it was kind of sad to see the HPA go and smash them all and stuff like that, or also those dwarves that just kind of beat them. So, they had some bad luck, but overall, though, they still did fairly well. Black Orcs, again, I mean, this whole tournament, this thing where they did kind of okay, but then with some bad luck, they got totally destroyed. The Squidcurd Horde is probably the only one that really gets the big passing grade out of all of them, because they're the ones that always did very well and never really had that bad of luck. And that's pretty much my list. And I guess now my thoughts on just the whole thing in general. usually when these things are all done, you stay, you see who gets the awards, and you clap, and off you go. And when it was all done, I just wanted to leave. I was just grumpy. When I went up to my brother when he was done. I said, "Let's get out of here." He was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just want to go." At least I had a nice excuse. I want to get home for supper. But really, I had just been annoyed with how the tournament had gone for myself. Out of the four games, I had three that were very one-sided, one in my favor, two against, and it's just one of those games where you're not going to look back fondly on them. It's like, oh yeah, remember that one time I won the game in the first turn thanks to Foot of Gork? Or remember that game where I just had horrible luck and I lost a massacre loss in a tournament. It's just annoying things that are going to be bothering you. I had the one great game there against the Dark Elves. That's something that you'll remember and look back to. But otherwise, I was just kind of, for a while there, very depressed, saying, man, this is what 8th is all about. It's all about massacres one way or the other, and I'm trying to think of how I'd make my list more competitive so it'd be more reliable, and, there's nothing really there. And unless I start going with like a troll horde so that they don't deal with animosity and all that stuff. And in the end, I really came to the thought of, well, wait a second, maybe the real problem here is not the fact that, that it's 8th or that it's that my list isn't competitive enough. Maybe the real problem is that I'm being too competitive. And I know I've had some other people commenting on that to me, that I had said before that I used to be a real power gamer and I had gone away and I'd start now playing for fun. But then obviously my list nowadays, you don't see a lot of stuff that's in there for fun. It's all been really serious stuff all the time. And that really now culminated in these tournaments, this one and the mini one before, where my thing going in is I'm in it to win it, right? I'm not in it to have fun. I'm in it to destroy everybody and win the whole tournament. And so maybe that's the big thing I need to change. I need to go back and just say, you know what? If you go into tournaments and you want to win them, they get annoying if you lose. And of course, if you have these things that go crazy and you just have a landslide win because your really powerful list destroyed them, or there was a landslide loss because your few little units had a few animosity problems or one bad set of luck and then you lost the game. It's better off just to take a list with a whole bunch of units, a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and just have fun. And an interesting comparison is I have another buddy that was here, and he always does orcs and goblins, and he always just takes a mix of everything, and he actually scored better than I did. So it just goes to show that maybe if you go in for fun, you also do better as well. In case if people want to know who won the tournament, as far as best general, it went to Warriors of Chaos. It was one set up with the whole Hell Cannon, and of course you got your guy flying around. He also was running a very big unit of Knights, and just a couple of units of Warriors. He actually went and beat my brother Skaven as well. So yeah, there you have it. So kind of a disappointing tournament for me, but if nothing else, hopefully I learned something from it, and when the next ones come up, I will make a list with fun things like the wizard hat and my super orc and stuff like that. So anyway, thanks for watching this series, and we'll catch you later. Bye.